Good evening, you're watching Estuary News, I'm Hugh Riches. In the headlines tonight, a young boy remains in hospital following a collision in East Yorkshire, a reduction in hair coursing in Lincolnshire, and a new parrot-themed garden in Grimsby. And later in tonight's programme, I'll be talking to B Wood about a new support group for the LGBT community. And before that, Sam Delaney on this year's People's Project. An 11-year-old boy remains in a serious condition in a hospital following a traffic collision in Brough yesterday. The incident happened on Welton Road when the boy was struck by a car as he was crossing the road. The boy suffered a head injury. Officers have appealed for witnesses to come forward. Lincolnshire Police has seen a 30% drop in hair coursing this year. 1,365 incidents were reported, compared with 1,965 in 2016 to 17. Officers have seized 76 dogs used for hair coursing, and 45 people were arrested or reported for summons. Another 58 people were served with dispersal notices, forcing them to leave the county, often without their dogs. Hair coursing is illegal in the UK under the Hunting Act 2004. Those convicted can receive a fine of up to £5,000. The Chief Executive of the Hull and Humber Chamber of Commerce says tourism in our region is on the rise. Dr. Ian Kelly believes factors such as staycations and Hull's Year as City of Culture is helping the trend.
We're still growing as an economy, but sort of not as strongly as we were over the course of the previous year. And there are a number of features that may be behind that, and new regulations and costs are in there. Now, council business rates in particular is one, particularly on the retail sector, as we know. That's a big, heavy burden with the change to people doing more digital shopping. But on top of that, there's the auto-enrolment of pensions, there is minimum wage issues, there is apprenticeship levies, all coming in at the same time, as well as increased raw material costs and increases in interest rates from the Bank of England. And so that is quite a heavy burden.
Chinese officials are visiting a number of Lincolnshire businesses this week to strengthen economic ties with the county. Around 70 industry leaders from Hunan province will arrive on Thursday to explore the benefits of collaboration in technology and strengthening ties with the food, engineering and education sectors. The delegation will visit Immingham Docks, the University of Lincoln and Lincoln College. Hunan is home to more than 68 million people, and its economy is worth £385 billion per year. Plans for a giant Lancaster bomber sculpture near Lincoln are set to be approved by councillors next week. The Bomber County Gateway Trust, the project will take off this year to coincide with the 100th anniversary of the RAF. North Kesteven District Council's planning subcommittee has been given a recommendation to approve the 26-metre structure, which would be mounted on a steel frame to give the impression of flight. Over 30,000 drivers would pass the monument every day. A decision on the plans will be made next Tuesday. The Archbishop of York will be in Bridlington this weekend. Dr. John Sentamu will bless the new Shannon-class lifeboat, the Anthony Patrick Jones, and the new boathouse on Saturday. The RNLI's lifeboat is named in memory of Mr. Jones, who bequeathed a substantial amount of money to the charity which helped fund the new vessel. East Riding Council wants to recruit new carers for disabled children. The local authority is keen to hear from people who'd like to be a shared carer for a child or young person with a disability. Options include giving parents a break by looking after the child for a few hours a week, or regular weekend stays in the carer's own home. Ideally, carers will be 25 or over, with room to accommodate the child's needs. An information event for those interested will be held at the Treasure House in Beverley next Tuesday from 5:30 in the afternoon. And the new endoscopy unit at Scunthorpe Hospital officially opened yesterday. Cut the ribbon at the £1.6 million because he worked with staff and the planning team on the development. Romana Callum, a consultant colorectal surgeon at the hospital, explains how the new facilities will improve the service.
It improves enormously because it's not only the number of patients whom we can treat, we can also do the advanced treatments here. So it is benefiting the patients in the locality who have had a very long waiting list in the past, are now rapidly coming down because of the additional room coming into use. And also we are able to do the specialist cystoscopies for the urology, bladder cancer detections, and small treatments for the small bladder tumors, all those things in this unit with all the new state-of-the-art equipment we have and additional facility we have.
We've increased the number of rooms that we have, so operating rooms, we've got more of those. They're bigger. They're easier to keep clean, they're better, they're nicer to work in for our staff, and they're very much nicer to be in for the patients. They're temperature controlled, they're all the night. So we've gone from sort of Cortina to Rolls-Royce. We have openings, funnily enough, for nurses. A lot of our endoscopy is not done by doctors, it's done by highly specialised and highly trained nurses, and we're looking for more, and we want to increase that. Because at the moment we have doctors and nurses doing endoscopy, but we want to move over in the future to nurses doing most of the diagnostic work, that's having a look, and doctors doing the therapeutic work, which is treating. And because we feel that at the moment we have a lot of doctors doing diagnostic work, which perhaps they'd be better off using their time to do therapeutic. So we're looking for staff. We're looking for staff at all levels, both doctors and nurses, and obviously technicians as well.
Well, obviously the new unit is nice decor, more comfortable seats, and I seem to remember at the old unit sometimes you perhaps didn't feel your privacy was as good as it could be. You'd maybe get changed into a gown beforehand, and now it seems a lot more streamlined, and I think your sort of privacy and dignity is rather better in the new unit.
And a new parrot-themed garden was opened at Andy's, the children's wing of St Andrew's Hospice in Grimsby today. The ceremony was attended by hospice staff, children and families. It was opened by Grimsby-born award-winning garden designer Jody Lingard, who worked with the charity Green Fingers to bring the garden to life. He says he's delighted with the finished product.
Originally this garden was quite a quiet, reflective garden for our adult hospice, and obviously we've just gone through a big redevelopment, and the adult hospice has moved from where it originally was based, and so this garden became inaccessible, and people weren't making the most of it. So we approached Green Fingers to see if they could help, and to extend the children's garden. Designing the garden as Green Fingers charity have, it's got lots of nooks and crannies, it's got lots of spaces that you can't see beyond, so it really encourages that kind of imaginative play, but it also enables the children, it's wheelchair accessible, so they can actually get out into the space as well. So yeah, it really does improve the experience that the children can have now they're here at the hospice.
So our involvement with the project began with a phone call from the Green Fingers charity, who we've worked with in the past. They told us there was an opportunity to get involved with a project in Grimsby. Me and my brother are from Grimsby originally, so it was a no-brainer to actually say yes, we'll get involved, and whatever you want us to do, we're there. We've run around the space on our own. We've sort of jiggled around at night and in the dark. We think the space has got a real dynamism, a real movement about it, and it's lively. There's places to sit and pause, there's places to contemplate and read books, there's places out of the weather, but when it gets summer, if we ever get the summer and it gets hot, we've also got the festival area that we're stood on now, where the kids can come out, pitch tents, listen to music, do recitals, listen to poetry, or do what they want. So we've got a multi-use site that we hope, when we come back in 6 months' time, will have been very personalised to the kids and be a little bit beaten up around the edges so we can put it right again. And we want to see lots of use in the garden.
For me, it's now about creating the space that the children can actually come out, because the wheelchairs can get out here, so they're able to get out and really enjoy the garden. I think the fact that it's quite secretive in the way that it's tucked away at the back of the gardens and the back of the grounds, that it's almost as if they've got to come on an adventure, which is again going to be really encouraging and creating that kind of imaginative play. And actually just having somewhere that's safe, that's got a water feature, the children can walk through the water, the sensory lighting, it really will benefit all of the children that come to the hospice.
Now I'm joined by Sam Delaney from Creative Start to tell us how people can support his project by raising a bit of money. Sam, welcome. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.
What is Creative Start?
Creative Start is an arts programme and a support programme, also a recovery programme for people that may be socially isolated. We tend to work with people that are in recovery. But it's also
in recovery from drug addiction on the whole.
From addiction of all kind, really, of addictive behaviour. And we also open with a lot of people come to the group and come to our service. So we're opening up to community. So it's everybody's welcome now, you know. But we do focus on helping vulnerable people.
And it's people who might otherwise not find themselves with much company.
No, social isolation is a big thing for us. It's getting people out to be involved in something, have a purpose, I think, is key as well.
And we've seen some of your work around Grimsby. The underpass by Cartergate is probably the most prominent.
Yeah, I think a lot of people see that one. We've done a few now. A lot of them are indoors. So we're working at St Andrew's Hospice at the moment in the children's unit. And we've just finished the library, the fire station at Cleethorpes.
There's a way in which people can help. There's a vote on another television station, I believe. How can people vote for you?
There is. Tonight will be on ITV Calendar News.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, we'll be on there and we'll be showcasing the project and giving an insight into the work we do.
And people can vote to get a slice of that money to come in to help you in Grimsby.
Of course, yeah.
Thank you, Sam. Sorry, we'll talk later when we know more about it, but thanks very much.
Okay.
Join me after the break. Jack will bring us interviews with both the Scunthorpe and Grimsby managers in the sport, and I'll be talking to B Wood about a new group to support LGBT people in the community. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Jack brings us interviews with both the Scunthorpe and Grimsby managers in the sport, and I'll be talking to B Wood about a new group to support LGBT people in Grimsby. A second consultation is taking place tonight for people to share their views on the North Lincolnshire local plan. The local authority is preparing a new local plan which, it says, will identify needs and opportunities over the next 19 years. Residents are being asked to give their views on various issues, including housing, business growth and infrastructure. Councillor Rob Waltham, leader of North Lincolnshire Council, says the consultation will give people the opportunity to help shape the future of the county.
I think it's really important that we listen to local people first and foremost about what they want to see for their local area, and business is an important part of that too. So when we start to plan, particularly around housing growth, it's not that it's predicated on increasing the amount of houses, or when we start to look at homes for older people or homes for younger people or new market entrants, there are a whole interest set that we need to try and understand there, and obviously using this as an opportunity specifically in Haxey on this occasion to find out what the local community wants from the local plan as we design it going forward. Well, I would expect to see the common issues, which are school capacity, the types of local homes that people know that they need going forward. I would expect them to look at the doctors and GP practices, the impact that will have, another impact on local infrastructure. So I think it'll just be a really broad view from residents about what they want for their community, what they think is going to be needed in the coming years. And I think also it's about thinking ahead, not just thinking about what will happen tomorrow, but thinking what will happen in 10 and 15 years' time and how that best fits for the community.
A new report by the insurance company Direct Line has revealed that bicycle theft is on the rise in our region. Nearly 2,000 bikes were stolen in East Yorkshire and Northern Lincolnshire last year. Humberside Police say they have a number of cycle security schemes and they work with cycle shops to try to prevent theft. Direct Line says insurance claims for bike theft are more than £7.5 million nationally every year. Roadside grass cuttings will be used to generate electricity and heat. It's part of a sustainable energy project in Lincolnshire to give the county council and local businesses a sustainable way to dispose of verge cuttings. The cuttings will be removed using a specially designed harvester machine and then taken to a local anaerobic digestion plant. The trial begins on Monday the 23rd of April and will run until the end of September, with a grass verge harvester being used around Horncastle and Coningsby. And our transgender woman has launched a new support group to help LGBT people in the community, and I'm joined by her now. Bea Wood's here to tell me more. Bea, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
You're looking particularly fine and splendid, may I say, and this is to the credit of Laura
Whittle.
Whittle.
Hair and makeup artist.
At the Grimsby Institute.
Yeah.
I think she deserves that credit. What are you doing?
Yes, thank you.
What are you up to? What's the new LGBT group that you're setting up?
So I've launched two things side by side. One is an LGBT support system, and for the LGBT community and its allies, and the other one is an equality campaign. So I named them after winning Miss Transgender UK. I won't take credit for the name because someone tagged me on Instagram with my name, B-E-A, Be Yourself, and I thought that is a cracking name for a support system.
It is a headline writer's pun.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are these two organisations? First of all, I like that phrase, LGBT and allies.
Absolutely.
So what do you mean by that?
So the LGBT community, being lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, the whole umbrella of everyone that doesn't fit within the standard society's old ways, heterosexual couple or whatever, people need support. Whether it be parents who have a son or daughter that's come out and don't know how to deal with it, whether it be friends supporting those that have come out or are struggling with things, with bullying or whatever, all the way to those that are coming out themselves and struggling. So there's a lot of fantastic charities out there and fantastic other groups. And I'm not saying they don't exist, because they do. This is not a new thing. But local to some areas, like Scunthorpe, and I believe Grimsby hasn't got an inclusive group. There are transgender groups out there, but there's nothing that includes everybody. And that's what I'm trying to create, a safe, supportive environment for everyone within the community and allies to come and ask questions, to come for a safe space, to talk, to socialise, make new friends, and hopefully create a safe environment.
And if people want to get involved and avail themselves of that benefit, how do they get in touch?
So I have a Facebook page, the Be Yourself Facebook page, or there is the website, www.beyourself, so B-E-A, yourself.co.uk.
Yeah, you're emphasising the pun here, Bea.
Absolutely.
And you've got a building, you've got a place where people can meet.
Yes, I've got a building in Brigg at the minute, at the Carers Community Centre on Redcombe Lane, and we meet on the second Monday of every month, 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. I've just about got premises in Scunthorpe Town Centre as well, and I also have premises in Grimsby Town Centre which are currently being refurbished, so we don't have access to them now, but it's going to be, I've been told, 2 to 3 months, and then there's going to be a launch in Grimsby, and it's going to start in Grimsby as well.
Okay, so people all welcome to come along if they would find that helpful. Now you are, congratulations on being Miss Transgender, is it UK?
Yes, thank
Miss
you.
Transgender UK. But that's a complicated journey. You must have come across a bit of prejudice on your way here.
Yeah. I actually fell into the pageant by accident. I was looking online at things and stumbled across it and thought, maybe I should. But prior to that, it's been a roller coaster. There's been a load of great positives, and there's also been times when, I've been at rock bottom, like everybody has, but it just seems to be amplified.
Is that potential for various prejudices around here? Is that a local cultural thing, or is that just global and universal?
I've been abroad, and they seem to be in some countries a lot more tolerant.
Yeah.
There's certain pockets of the UK that are massively accepting. Massively. Then there's other areas that really aren't very tolerant at all. And they may be accepting people within the communities, but there's the equal amount of hate.
Yeah.
And the stares, the comments, that's where it comes from.
Bea, good luck with your projects. I'm sure that will solve a lot of those problems. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Here's Jack with all the sports.
Tributes have been pouring in following the sad news that former Speedway world champion Ivan Major died yesterday at the age of 78. The New Zealander, who won 6 world titles during a glittering career, spent 3 years at Hull Vikings between 1978 and 1981. He soon became a fan's favourite of the Boulevards, winning the last of his world titles in 1979 as captain of the Vikings. Major was awarded an OBE in 1989 for his services to the sport, and many of those involved in Speedway have been sharing their memories of him on social media. Speedway Great Britain described him as a pioneer ahead of his time, while the Hull Vikings Twitter page thanked him for putting the club on the world stage. A true sporting great there, Ivan Major, who has passed away aged 78. Moving on to football now, and Scunthorpe United interim manager Nick Dawes has been speaking about the depth of his squad ahead of the final run-in. Injuries to key players hampered former boss Graham Alexander, but Dawes has a positive outlook on the present situation, with lots of options available to him. Competition for places is strong again at Glanford Park, and that showed at the weekend in the 1-0 win away at playoff-chasing rivals Charlton. It was the first win of Dawes' second spell in temporary charge of United, and he spoke of the importance of having a big squad to choose from.
I think their confidence again now should come from the fact that there are more of us, just in terms of numbers out there, and there are now, a whole host of options, in terms of team selection and in terms of being able to change things from the bench. The challenge is to fit 18 into 27, which is the challenge that we have. But I'd rather have it that way than only having 18 players to choose from.
In League Two, Grimsby Town manager Michael Jolly has said he isn't getting ahead of himself with 3 games of the season left to go. The Mariners clinched a late goal to seal a point in the 2-2 draw with relegation rivals Barnet on Saturday, but Jolly is fully aware that the job is far from done in securing safety. Town sit 5 points above the relegation zone, 6 clear of bottom side Chesterfield, who play one of their 2 games in hand this evening. I caught up with Jolly after the Barnet game at the weekend and asked him whether that points cushion is a good safety net for his side.
We don't consider that we've got too much breathing space at this point. We still have 3 games, and I'm sure we're going to need to go and get some more points in those last 3 matches. So there's no view from us other than the fact that there's still a lot of work to do, and we've got to make sure we try and do it.
And that's all from me in the sport. Back to Hugh in the studio.
Thanks very much, Jack. That's all we have time for tonight, I'm afraid. But if you've a story for us or you want to contact us, Facebook and Twitter pages are available. Or you can email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 0147231 553. Write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN34 5BQ. Until tomorrow, good evening.